Okay. Welcome everybody to today's hearing. We have two sections here. First, we're going to look at a package of 11 bills. They are intros 612A, 613A, 614A, 630A, 632A, 657A, 660A, 663A, 664A, 653A, and 693. All these legislation taken together will make the city fairer and safer by strengthening sexual harassment protections. The bills fall into three categories. Some require city government agencies to strengthen reporting and training. Some require our Commission on Human Rights to deepen its outreach and extend the statute of limitations on sexual harassment from 1 year to 3 years. Some address sexual harassment in the private sector by expanding the types of employers who must offer sexual harassment protections and mandating that they provide the same annual training as city agencies are required to provide. I want to thank Speaker Corey Johnson, who's also the sponsor of Intro 612A. I want to thank the Chair of the Human Rights Commission, Carmelyn Malalas, our DCAS Commissioner, Lizette Camillo, our Director for the Commission on Gender Equity, Jacqueline Ebanks, Councilmember Helen Rosenthal, Chair of the Committee on Women and sponsor of Intros 663A and 664A, Councilmember Matthew Jean, Chair of the Committee on Civil and Human Rights, Councilmember Alika Ampry-Samuel, sponsor of Intro 614A, Councilmember Robert Cornegie, sponsor of Intro 630A, Councilmember Lori Cumbo, sponsor of Intro 632A, Councilmember Mark Levine, sponsor of Intro 653A, Councilmember Keith Powers, sponsor of Intro 657A, Councilmember Carlina Rivera, sponsor of Intro 660A, and Councilmember Jimmy Van Bramer, sponsor of Intro 693. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the sponsor of Intro 613A, Councilmember Adrienne Adams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's a pleasure to be a part of this important package. As one of the council members whose legislation, it is the very first time that I have passed legislation. I'm very proud of this. New York City is taking the lead in addressing this issue, and quite frankly, I can't wait for the signing. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Council Member. And the signing will not be happening today, but will be happening soon. We're looking forward to it. We have one person signed up for comment, and it is Tawaki Kamatsu. And the microphone is there. Here? Okay. Seeing no one else, let me go on to the, oh, you're here, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You and I have talked before. The items on the agenda that I'm here to testify about are the Human Rights Law and the Charter Revision Commission. Is that going to be in two parts, or? Okay.
This is the...
So with regards to the Human Rights Law, New York State's definition of the Human Rights Law incorporates discrimination based on political affiliation, or, well, basically that. So I would actually be in favor of having New York City's Human Rights Law amended to essentially incorporate the New York State's definition of what human rights violations constitute.
Again, the question, well, just so everyone's clear, we have a number of pieces of legislation before, and when people come to testify, they testify about the specific legislation. There's 11 bills. So do you have something to say about those 11 bills?
Sure. Well, with regards to the Human Rights Law, as I stated, there's a difference between the New York City's definition of it and the New York State and federal definition of it. So I would actually be in favor to, well, essentially I urge you to have New York City's definition of the Human Rights Law to mirror New York State and the federal definition of the Human Rights Law, such that there won't be any further discrepancy between those sets. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, as I said, the signing of the bills will be held to another time soon. And now we have one more bill to discuss, and that is Intro 241B, which establishes a Charter Revision Commission. The City Council has put forward this legislation, and I respect the Council's right to create such a commission. We obviously will be working closely with the Council on the commission. Want to thank Speaker Corey Johnson, co-sponsor of Intro 241B, and Councilmember Fernando Cabrera, Chair of the Committee on Government Operations, Public Advocate Tish James, also sponsor of Intro 241B, and Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, also co-sponsor of Intro 241B. And is there a commentary on that? Okay. We have a same individual. Come on up.
Hi again.
Hello.
With regards to the Charter Revision Commission, the things that are most, I guess, important to me is to see that sections 1116 that pertains to fraud within the charter, section 13-B that pertains to the Office of Civil Justice, and also section 1063 that pertains to broadcasting public meetings. I'm looking to see if the charter could be revised to have stronger enforcement provisions built into it, such that if members of your administration violate those existing provisions, such violations would be subject to a felony as opposed to a misdemeanor and would result in automatic forfeiture of their public office. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're now going to sign this legislation. Jeff, how many do you need here? 4 it is. All right, this legislation is now law, and we've covered all the business of this hearing. Thank you very much, everybody.